What up? Welcome to the official DoD Podcast.
Presents the official DoD Podcast. The only place where dads can be 100% correct 100% of the time. Don't tell your mother.
What up? Welcome to episode 15 of the official DoD Podcast. I'm your host, TwoLoudtx. Here with me today, my co-host and the man that wiped all of our Crota saves just after complaining last week that someone did it to him in the Vault of Glass. Nolxero, what's up, buddy?
Drop the heroes, go to 0, and it wasn't a Crota save. It was the first area after the darkness. And I had to save on another character, so I was able to fix or remedy the problem, unlike myself the last week.
You know, Troy, all I heard there was excuse, wah, 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 but he wiped our saves.
For everybody listening, it was about a 3-second inconvenience.
No, he wiped it.
He pretty much wiped
moment.
it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for the fact that we had a slim sliver of an opportunity to reconstruct all the saves that we were able to press forward. But if it, for the most part, 98% wiped.
Yeah.
98%, not 100.
That's accurate.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you wiped everybody's but yours. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. You know, what if something happened to you and we couldn't have gone on? We would have been stuck
about
and had
10
to do
seconds,
the whole brand new part again.
We loaded
So-
up. It's
Troy, all I really want to
comes
hear
in
is an
and murders
apology.
me, and like,
That's it.
there you go. Now
All
y'all can't do
all
it.
I needed was an apology, and this would have been over. But you know what? It's not. It's not over.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He has an excuse for it. I'm sure the
Every
guy that did to
time.
him last
Every
week
time.
had an excuse too. So it's all right.
Okay.
You know, whatever.
No one got me
Do
back
unto-
to Atheon, that's for sure. I
Do
had to
unto
get those
others
guys
as
there.
you would have them do unto you, right, Pope?
That's
Mhm.
absolutely true.
Yep.
Amen.
I'm going to invite you
I
when I'm at the
heard.
very beginning, and you're going to clear your save next time.
Thank you.
Well, the man that actually led us across the bridge in the new raid and was the first to defeat the gatekeeper on our fire team. And yes, I'm saying something nice about him. It's
Yes.
Mr. Popebear. What's up, buddy?
No, I'm in a really strange place right now. Like, I'm not used to you introducing me this way, but I appreciate that. That we had a really good run, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the raid and the teamwork, and to share in the compliments. Your strategy for getting through the first part was really solid, and I think really effective, and I had a lot of fun.
Well, obviously, I think me and you and Nolxero, it was our first time to even jump in it at all. And and we had Knight and Hambone and Zane with us. And, when we got there to that second part, they started spitting out all that information. And we're like, okay, we don't even know what you just said. You're like, stand on the thing, then the guy comes, then you run on it, then the bridge comes up, then you run across, and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, what are you talking about? They're like, how many, and Pope says to them, how long did you guys spend in here last time? Oh, like 3 hours.
Let's explain that these three had also gone through it already, and they were unable to help us with the first part of the raid. It was the newbie that had to point out
You guys.
the
No,
strategy on
You
how to
guys.
get through.
First, time out.
No,
Time out.
we were
On
listening.
air,
We were
I
listening
said
to you guys.
I said
Oh,
to you at
okay.
the very beginning
Let's
of
hear
the
it.
raid
Let's
that
hear it.
all we needed to do was run together as a group. And then an hour later, after I let you guys do everything else, Troy regurgitates my information and says we should walk instead of run. It's not my fault that you guys aren't coordinated enough to run.
No. But you guys kept saying, well, last time one guy just got to the last lantern and then everything despawned and we made it.
We have made it up there, but all we need to do is run as a group together, stick together, and everybody's like, let's try 2 by 2 by 2.
I believe we tried running. How'd that work out?
Let's try.
By the time you decided that it was time to take things into your own hands, right? By the time you said let's strategize together, us newbies who's doing it for the first time. What was it? Maybe one wipe after that, and then we made it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I just let you guys fail. I didn't give any type of direction. I said anything you guys wanted to do, I'm willing to do.
On my chalkboard, the newbies created a plan that worked within 2 wipes.
And
that's what I see.
Not within 2 wipes. It took you guys about an hour and a half to get to that point, the same that it took us. So,
is
that would be a giant is Hambone getting defensive right now? No, I'm getting defensive because I'm like, wait a minute. After I said run in a group for the whole freaking hour, and then all of a sudden Troy's like, maybe we should go as a group. You guys are like, yeah, that's a great idea.
This is what it is.
No, that
we tried your way for like an hour and a half.
No, we tried
everybody
for an hour and a half.
We tried running to the lights as a group. People kept exploding.
Yeah, because they
all that. And then Troy was like, let's try the opposite. The natural thing is to want to run. Let's try walking as a group, shooting things as we get there. And there you go. Next thing you know, we wipe on the actual portal thing that builds the bridge, and then the next time we did it correctly, and it was like boom.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you can't blame Hambone though. After hours of preparation and planning to play the new raid on release night, and to only have his team fall apart and give up after 3 hours. Yes, the voice you've already heard for the past 10 minutes defending himself, the DoD savvy leader, Mr. Hambone himself.
Oh,
What's
my
up,
goodness.
buddy?
Okay, so listen, I don't even know where to start with all this nonsense, but I want to say this to clarify what was just said. So after my team attempted to do it, right around 1 o'clock, and side note, if you're going to do a raid and then you plan to leave within 3 hours of the start of that raid, that should be set up front so that people don't get, upset or feel like, why didn't we finish this? But on a side note, I watched Dado's video, and on Dado's video, just like in my thoughts, they ran together as a group. But that was my mistake for thinking that we were as coordinated as Prime Guard, So we were unable to run through.
That is a mistake to think that we're coordinated as Prime
And I will
Guard.
give Troy full credit that by taking the running aspect out of it, it did keep us together, because a lot of the guys couldn't keep up, or they would just stay around whatever too long and not be moving as a group. So the running did help.
Yeah, I mean, not to jump in this too much here at the beginning of the show yet, but one thing that they did do, and we can kind of talk about the strategy of this later on, but they did all run together, and there's a lot of teams that are running it together. And as I said, we'll jump into kind of the strategy of that a little bit later on and how that's working. But let's just say, as a group of us 6, we weren't all specced out and laid out together to run in coordination. So walking worked.
And we didn't all have multi-tools either, so.
Right. So, well, guys, with the expansion obviously out this week, we all haven't gotten much sleep at all. And, as I mentioned, we actually have gotten to play with some different dads. I know I have gotten to play some different dads in the Nightfall and the weekly and everything else. So if you're jumping on and you're having a hard time looking for people, don't forget about the database that's on the dadsofdestiny.net website, which is awesome. Deep Fried Dave has done a fantastic job with that thing. I mean, ever since the beginning, I was kind of his baby, right, Pope? I mean, ever since the beginning, he's really done a good job on the database and expanded it. So you can go there. You can actually go see people by your zone, your area, your state. You can search all kinds of stuff. So definitely shoot over there to dadsofdestiny.net. Check out the database. And trust me, there are tons of dads that are just like you out there. If you're looking for somebody that want you to add them to your friends list, and look for them whenever you jump on. And if you haven't registered yet for the website and the new forums, make sure you take a look around. Check out all the other great content over there. The admin team's working super hard to make sure that things are up and running smooth and well for everybody, and that every dad has something there that they can enjoy. So definitely jump over to Dad's of Destiny. Make sure you guys register and everything else. So, and speaking of the admins, real quick, shout out to Raven's Claw, who is a big part of the DoD PS3 community. He is going to be tying the knot this Saturday. So he is putting it down on Saturday. So best
Another
of luck
one
to you,
bites
man.
the dust.
No more Destiny for you.
Well, I'm
Is that the
sure
wedding march?
Raven, if
No,
you
no. I think
That's
was
a
the right
different.
one.
That's not the wedding march.
No, I don't think
that's
so.
not the wedding
No,
march. Well,
Pretty
no,
close.
It's close to it.
It
That's
might-
what was going through my head when I got married.
Oh man.
Well,
Wow.
he might be putting a slow down the Destiny, but it won't necessarily just because she's telling him no. But it's going to be that new marriage,
Right.
going
The honeymoon's
down. You
coming
know what I
up.
mean? Every night you know what I mean? Talking.
No, I don't know what you're
Wow,
talking
chicken,
about,
wow,
Troy.
wow.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes the funnest times when you buy a new car is taking it out for a spin just
Oh,
after
my
you've brought it home.
yep, that's true. That's true.
Mhm.
And letting everybody else ride in it, right?
No,
No,
this one's a two-seat.
That's where that analogy just flies right out the window.
Right. I'm trying to get up in your back seat though.
Right. You know what though? They may do things different in Texas, Hambone. See, up here in California, we don't let anybody ride the back seat.
That's true.
That's not from what I hear. Well, with that out of the way, guys, let's grab our beverages and stop this nonsense. We need to get some control into this. Let's jump into episode 15.
Bottles up, Guardians.
Please drink responsibly. Silly kids, drinking is for adults only. Don't drink and ride your Sparrow. Drinking has been known to increase your aim. Individual crucible results may vary. If you have a buzz lasting longer than 4 hours, contact the speaker immediately. No lawyers were harmed in the making of this disclaimer.
All right, well, guys, as I mentioned last week, the bottles list was going to make it up on the website, and it did. So go check out the bottles up suggestion list there on the DoDpodcast.com. And if you made a suggestion to us and it didn't make it up there, send us another email. We tried to go through all the emails that we had gotten and all the tweets that we had received and put them up there, but definitely shoot them over to us and we'll get them up right away. And this way we have a way to organize all those suggestions. And then we also got the official listener page up. So if you want to be an official listener, go donate, $1 or whatever your heart desires to us, and become an official listener on the website as well. And once we hit 100 official listeners, we're going to do a special episode for those 100 listeners and send out. So make sure you jump over there, get your fellow Guardians to donate and support us. And thanks so much for the support. So. With that said, Pope, what are you drinking tonight, my friend?
Well, I'm pulling straight off of the listeners' official suggestion page off of the DoD podcast, and this one's coming from Old Sushi, and his gamer tag drew me to him right away because I thought,
That's the one thing you don't want is Old Sushi?
that's the one. Yeah. So let me see what he got, and I opened it up and. It's funny. It's another Lagunitas, and so this will be 3 weeks in a row that I'm putting out a Lagunitas. But he suggests the Imperial Red Ale, and I'm trying it right now. And man, this is a mule kicker. I like it. It's a awesome drink. Very very strong, but it's got a great flavor to it. It's malty. And but it's got some sweet hops to it, and
hops.
I'm just really enjoying it. It's it feels almost like a dank, like this like roasted dank like feel to it. It's just delicious. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, and if you guys are out there, I'm gonna start switching from Lagunitas to something else. But I highly recommend this brewery, and I appreciate Old Sushi because he's shown me another great reason why I love the Lagunitas Brewery.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to get over to the World Market here in Dallas, and and they have a huge beer selection. And I haven't found Lagunitas here at like some of the grocery stores that sell a smaller selection of beer because a lot of it's like local stuff, and maybe some of the bigger, small or well-known breweries around the South. But I got to jump up there and find Lagunitas because every week you're drinking something that's Lagunitas and you just praise it. So, what about you, Nolxero? What are you drinking down there in Austin, Texas?
Well, this week I'm drinking a suggestion from Peter L, which I've actually had before. It's the Guinness.
Oh,
And
good old
I've had it
Guinness.
before. It's been a long time. I don't remember being a fan of it. But I was young when I first tried it, so who knows? We'll give
Yeah.
it a shot.
Now the question is, are you drinking it European style or American style? Is it sort of room temperature, or you've gotten it? Are you serving it chilled from the refrigerator?
I grabbed it right out of the fridge.
All right, that's the American style. So in Europe, you don't like Guinness is not as chilled. It's still kept like cellar temperature, but it's got a different flavor to it. It's almost got
Really?
like yeah, it's delicious, man. It's almost like a meal. That's how thick it is.
Man, it's too thick for me,
It
dude.
is
It's
thick.
like syrup for me. It grows hair on my chest as I drink it, and hair
I
just
used to
pops
live in
out.
Yeah, I used to live in Germany, and it tastes totally different there than what they serve here. I'll tell you that. But what they have there, when you pour it from the spout, it literally takes like, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes to pour probably about 3 minutes to pour a pint, because that's how slow it comes out. It's just like dripping out.
Nice.
It's
That's what I'm
amazing.
talking
It is
about.
amazing
Wow.
beer.
Yeah, I'll have to try that sometime. But yeah, I guess for tonight we're going the American route.
Absolutely.
What about you, Hambone? What are you chugging down over there? Any cheap buy you got for us this week?
Oh, you better believe it. The plethora of alcohol that I had a couple weeks ago has come to an end, sadly. So I'm back to my to my budget buy. And my budget buy of the week is gonna be Daly's Cocktail. Now, Daly's Cocktails, it's like a little pack. It's like a little packet, right? And you can
Are
find
you
these.
serious right now?
I'm dead serious. Hold on. Shut your mouth. Shut
I'm not.
hush up, hush up. So what I'm saying here is you got this frozen margarita, okay? It comes in a little pouch. You put it in the freezer and you give it like 8 hours or whatever it takes to freeze up, and then you take it out and you just kind of like smash it up with your fist.
Bro, there
Throw
might
it
be
in a
something wrong with
cup.
your freezer if it takes 8 hours for that.
No,
thing to
it's a
freeze.
solid liquid. You got to let it get to a solid ice cube before you can like break down into a slush. So you take that, you pour it in a cup, right? And these are $2 a packet, and they have like every flavor you can imagine. So it's already got alcohol in it. But what I do,
Oh,
I take
really?
and add extra alcohol into it so that
Sure,
it's a
sure, of
proper
course.
drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I got a little
So
bit of Jack Daniels under there. And,
So you added Jack
it's on
Daniels
point.
to your margarita.
my frozen margarita, you better believe it.
So
It's
Jack
on point.
Daniels, Jack Daniels to a margarita.
Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. I looked
Oh,
in, there
it's
was
on
like
point.
a tiny bit of Jack, and let me tell you, it was delicious. It was on point.
I don't even want to know
Oh,
what
man.
tequila and freaking whiskey tastes
No,
like.
it's not tequila because it's not an authentic margarita. This is a packet, and it's all made with like malt liquor. You know what I mean? So
What are
it's
you
it's the
drinking,
flavor.
Brian?
So it's the it's the flavoring.
I am blown away right now. I
have to
have
ask-
never ever heard of this before. I
What's
see
better,
it.
this? What's going
I
on
see
right
it.
now, or Troy drinking a root beer?
I'd rather have a root beer.
No.
Oh,
Give me
I'm
some-
telling you.
Give
I'm
me
telling
some
you.
birch soda any day of the week.
No.
And,
If you like mixed drinks and you have alcohol at your house already and you just want something, I happen to like slushes, like slushes, ices, whatever. So I like those things. So this is
What
right
about
up my
Tinder?
alley for the occasional switch up from the beer.
So basically, you have a Slurpee.
Yeah, I have an alcoholic Slurpee, and it's like I just went to Applebee's and got myself, a little margarita or a daiquiri or something. It's on
wow.
point. Leave it alone.
all right.
Well, my drink that's on point today, I actually, I think perhaps how I'm drinking it is more special than what I'm drinking, but I am drinking
Yes.
Shiner Wild Hair Pale Ale.
all right.
And as I've said, I love the pale ales. I am a huge fan of it, but and it's a little more hoppy than most of the ales that I've drank in the past, especially over the past few weeks, and so it's a little more hoppy, a little more richer, I'd say, but it has a really good bitterness and aroma to it. So it's really cool. But what's really awesome is today in the mail I
Oh
received
yeah.
my Destiny pint glasses.
Uh-oh.
So these
Wow.
are 4 glasses, and they're glass per se, not just the word glasses, but they're glass cups And I can't really turn this over so you guys can see it here while we're recording the podcast. But on the bottom, you can kind of see it there. Got the Bungie logo on the bottom, and this one has the Destiny logo on the side. The other ones have, the 3 class logos. So you got the Titan and the Hunter and the Warlock.
So you're giving me the Titan?
No,
Brian,
absolutely not. I'm keeping all these,
and
in fact, my wife said to me, "I can't wait to drink out of those. They look really nice." And I said, "If you touch these, I will hide them." So. Let's just say I'm gonna keep those all to myself. They're really, man, they're awesome. They're really well made. You can tell it's like a really thick glass, and it's enjoyable. Hey, I feel more like a Destiny fan because I'm drinking out of a Destiny.
So whenever you see
Destiny
Bungie,
glass.
it's time to pour another beer.
Yeah. Every time I see Bungie, it's gonna just remind me I need to drink another beer now. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm probably gonna have too many nights I drink too much beer. So. Oh, look at this! And Pope, he obviously received a package in from Bungie with his little logo on his jacket here, and I'm so jealous because they didn't have that in a large when I needed it, and your little self on extra small. They had plenty of those in stock, so you were able to grab one. So
it's actually, I just pulled it from Bungie's children's section. Yeah, fits just great.
Well, this week, speak of things that came from Bungie, not a whole lot came from Bungie this week as far as updates. Obviously, we got the huge expansion pack, so I guess that a lot did come from Bungie in that form. But as far as weekly updates and things that we talk about here on the show, not a whole lot came out. I know, Pope, you're reading about the weekly update 12/11/2014. And obviously, he's given, Deej gets a little bit of back history, I guess, on the focus of the Dark Below and who we first came in contact with Eris. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about the woman that is behind Eris here that you found attractive?
She's good looking, Troy. Yeah, she's not a blonde, but a close second is a redhead. And so here we go. Her name is Morla, and she's worked on a ton of stuff that you might know. Let's see. She's worked on, BioShock 2, Infamous 2, Crackdown 2, Halo, Resistance. I mean, she's got a lot of experience in the video game world, and she does voice acting professionally. And I think that's really the difference here that I'm really recognizing is that she's a professional voice actress, and it's awesome to hear the story of Crota through her just not getting Dinklage again, to be honest with you. And she's done just to hear her thought process as to where she went with the character. One thing that specifically stood out during the interview was Deej is asking her where she got her inspiration from. And she says, so one of the challenges with voice acting is being able to convey genuine emotion in a vacuum. And I think that was my biggest gripe with Peter Dinklage is that he just didn't convey that emotion, And there's no other actor to play off of and no costume or set to help inspire. So having an image in mind that helps recall a certain feeling that can be a valuable tool. And she says, with Eris, I definitely pulled from my life experiences, specifically the memory of returning home to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. For me, there were a lot of similarities there. And I just really am impressed by her work. It reminds me of the quality voice acting that we got from Cortana in Halo.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it really elevated the story and drew me in.
Well, I think, overall, right, I mean, I think everybody will admit, this wasn't like in the expansion. I'm not going to do any spoilers yet. And I think we can give a little more probably behind the scenes next week. But when everybody has another week to kind of get at these few missions that are there. Yeah. But essentially, it's no secret, I guess, that there's 3 main missions you play through when you go through the expansion material. And it's not like a crazy story. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this was the best story of my life. But what it is doing is kind of putting some pieces together of a story that seems to be a lot more involved and deep for the player to kind of grab onto, just in these 3 missions than the whole game was prior to. So
Yeah. I
would
can actually
absolutely
give you like a detailed like analysis of what's going on. Where the original Destiny is kind of like, I mean, you can get to it if you read Grimoire cards to kind of piece your story together, what you think's going on. But yeah, this is definitely more. There's a real targeted story here, and you know what's happening.
yeah, I mean, it's very short, right? Because of like I said, it's only a few missions that you're going through, but
Right.
it all ties in, basically to the raid. But it's just, it just seems like, obviously I'm not going and pulling out my ghost or Peter Dinklage in every instance I can and protecting him, and
Yeah. Mhm.
And there is one instance where you open a door with a ghost, and I have to tell you that everyone I've talked to, and this isn't a spoiler, but everyone that I've spoken to about their experiences doing the Crota missions is they haven't heard her say this, but so I when the first time I ran it, I put out my dinklage, right, and I stuck my dinklage in the door, right, and she says in this deep voice, it's very dramatic voice, she says, "In the traveler's dying moments, he created the ghost." And then in a kind of a sarcastic voice, she says, "2 open doors." And it was a total Easter egg. I don't think very many people get that audio,
Right.
and I'd like to hear from any listeners who maybe got it as well. But I haven't heard anybody else get it. But it blew me away. It's Bungie being Bungie, being able to laugh at themselves. And that wizard came from the moon. Make T-shirts out of it and donate it. It's just them recognizing that maybe they made a mistake and
Right.
that they're correcting it. So more kudos to them for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. I know that all of us have been focused on trying to level up and gear up and do her missions and her side missions, and I'm really also happy that these bounties that you receive from Eris, the bounties are different, and they're not just the same, or more of the same bounties that we were doing before, but they're a different variety of them. And that goes along with, kind of other things that they've put in the world, as well, along with the expansion. So, one thing that Nolxero said the other day is what's going to be really cool is to turn around in a year when we have, another 2 or 3 expansions and, see all the things that evolved in the world. Nolxero, you said the other day, what's going to be the coolest thing is how the world evolves around us while we're in it.
Right. Like, because someone had complained that we were playing with that they didn't make any new areas, that they just kind of opened up some stuff we knew that was there. And I was like, but that's cool because we're in these familiar environments, and now we're seeing as the story progresses in the world, we're seeing things change in our world that we were so used to, and now it's different.
Mhm.
And it'll just be cool to see a year from now how different these worlds are that we're accustomed to.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine what if say something does happen on Earth or any say on Mars, something lands on Mars, maybe another type of enemy, or the Cabal land on Mars for an event or an expansion, and all of a sudden now you have this whole different environment on Mars, or maybe even falling on Earth, and you have this more apocalyptic desert area on Earth all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So, as the game evolves, I think that's what's going to be really cool to see is how the environments change, how the worlds that we originally knew maybe and that lacked some depth to them, how they've gained a lot more depth and variety. So, speak of variety, the new gear, that's, man, there's a lot of new gear out there. What is it?
Yeah.
What is it, Hambone? Like 200 new pieces? Is that right?
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's something ridiculous like that. But I'm thrilled. If you haven't seen yet all the new vendors in town, when I say town, I mean at the tower. I got that from Troy, by the way. He always says in town, and I just picked it up. But yeah, all the new vendors in town all have upgraded gear. So now for anybody who was stuck in the 29 for life club, as we call it in our clan, you can now get to 30 pretty easily just by having 75 marks in either the Crucible or the Vanguard, and just being rank 2. As long as you're rank 2 with either of those and you have 75 marks, you can get yourself a pair of boots or some gauntlets without needing the newfangled commendations. And if you're rank 3, every time you rank up past rank 3, you will get a commendation in either the Crucible or the Vanguard, and then you can buy helmets for 120 marks, or you can get chest pieces for 75. So I'm thrilled. There's now a very easy way without the raid to get yourself to 31. So I think a lot of people are going to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's aggravating for me is that I was trying to get the 31 on my hunter. So this week I hit all three of my characters hit 30.
Nice.
And so I've showed the hunter some love, especially, which is really funny because, I built my Titan first, and then I built my Warlock, and I was kind of dreading building my hunter, and then all of a sudden I'm playing my hunter at 29, trying to get him to 30, and I get him to 30, and then the next thing I know, I open a package and I get new boots and new arms.
That's how it works when you're a hunter, baby.
Yeah.
We just get everything.
Oh, my gosh.
Welcome to the family.
Except
That's right. You heard it on the air. He's a hunter now.
Except I remember you crying, Brian, about a month ago. Like, I'm gonna delete one of my characters. I'm never gonna get my boots. Hunters never get anything. Screw hunters. I don't get it. So, but I have.
And I'm gonna go on record right now. I'm gonna go on record and say that the hunter is actually redeemed itself in my eyes.
Ooh.
Simply because of their involvement in the raid.
This is an odd show. I introduced Pope in a nice way, and now he's saying something nice about a hunter.
I'm just saying that I was confused by Bungie's placing a useless piece of turd class in the game, right?
Oh man!
And so now,
and now you found the turd has meaning.
Right. It's actually it's still a turd, but at least it's you're looking at it in the toilet bowl, and it shows that you're healthy. It's got some.
I think the consistency of you pushing his heart in the direction, and then obviously him falling in love with a lot of the guys from Dungeon Protocols.
Yeah.
They have worked on him as well, so that he's coming around with the.
That's what I'm saying.
With the hunter love. But
and I do love the guys over at Dungeon Protocols. I want to give a shout out to Bishek who's turned me on to some of those classes for sure.
Yeah,
I've seen the light.
So I got some new gear pieces. I've been leveling up. I actually got all my Vanguard points in like one day because I just played strikes. I was hoping to be able to get enough to get a helmet. And I'm like 6 points shy of being able to get my helmet, so that I could have all the gear I needed to get to level 31. But Nightblade 69, so shout out to Nightblade 69. He was the first person in DoD to hit 31. He played 26 hours straight. And he got it. And he was on with you, Hambone, at 1 o'clock in the morning to Pacific time.
Why aren't you a 31, Brian?
Well, Brian got off. He gave up.
But he doesn't have a job. Why didn't he stay on?
Let me explain.
Is your commitment not there,
This has
Brian?
become a frequent thing over here.
Is your commitment not there? That's what I want to know.
My commitment is there. There are certain things in this game that you cannot change no matter what. When we ran the raid, I was lucky enough to get myself some raid gauntlets.
Nice.
But I didn't have enough marks like Troy to be able to get my helmet. So I now have all 3 bottom pieces, but I just don't have enough marks until next week to get myself a helmet. But all is not lost because Zer's coming tonight, and I'd be willing to bet he's going to have an exotic helmet for me to buy or upgrade.
I'm going to have to
Yes,
stay
you
up,
are.
aren't you? Oh, my gosh.
Yep. And then
we're staying up. Brian
and
and I are going to be playing until this thing comes out.
Oh, you know it.
Man.
You better believe it.
So, yeah, we're recording this on Thursday night, guys, and Zer's going to come out, and these guys are definitely going to make me stay up and check this out. But, I've really been enjoying it. I told Nolxero at first, it's only 2 levels they're giving us, but, he assured me, hey, it's going to be more than you think. And it really hasn't Nolxero? I mean, there's a lot more to grinding this gear and leveling up here, especially since we're trying to level up Eris. So
absolutely. I've been, it's funny because I'm normally the one that complains first, and you're normally the one championing the game. And this time it was a role reversal. It was like, no, dude. I know you're thinking, oh, it's not that much, but dude, I've played a little bit, and it's a lot. It's a lot there. There, especially engrams. If you like engrams, man, they're dropping like candy right now.
Oh yeah.
There's just so much here, and it's all for $20. And I heard someone say, "Is the expansion worth it at $20?" I was like, well, if you buy a map pack for, say, Call of Duty or any of the other shooters that come out at $15 for 4 or 5 maps, like, this is way more than that. You get 3 multiplayer maps, you get 3 story missions, a new strike. If you're on PlayStation, it's 2 new strikes, all the new armor, weapons, and you get a raid. That's a ton of content for $20. Way more than 4 maps on a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a ton of gear, obviously, that you can get, and obviously the big thing is that we're going to be able to level up our existing exotics, right? That we talked about last week, to the new level. And I know I even kept some engrams before the patch came out, and I traded those in, and I got some new items, from the new. From the new Vanguard and everything else, and the new vendors that are there in the tower, and most of it were blue items, I think. But it was cool to see that they have the little logo up in the corner, it's like like an eye with the, or something.
It's a 1. Yeah, it's a Roman numeral 1. Roman numeral 1 indicating expansion 1.
Okay, cool. So yeah, up in the corner where you guys will see that. And the cool thing I want to share real quick is one of the items, and this isn't really a spoiler, but one of the items you'll receive from Eris from doing one of her missions is the Murmur. And if you play any kind of PvP, you've already seen it anyways.
You've been killed by it at least.
Yeah, everybody's using it, but it's a fusion rifle. And what's really cool about this, at first that I noticed, is that you can switch it between what type of effect damage it has, right? Between arc damage and solar damage, which is really neat. And the other cool thing about it is that it evolves into another weapon. Correct, Nolxero? Like, what is the weapon that it goes to?
I'm not sure the name of the weapon. I'm not sure if he even changes names, but everything I've read and been told is that it does evolve into an exotic weapon if you get I forget what the name of the gem is from her. Rune Core. Thank you, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I was told, that it's going to actually upgrade into an exotic weapon. So that would be cool to see. It's 3. I think you got to be rank 3 with her to get that from her.
Yeah, you do indeed.
So yeah, it's going to take a little bit to get there, but it'll be cool to see how they do that and how they turn something into an exotic, and what that effect actually does to the weapon.
And Can we talk about that for a quick second?
Yeah,
the fact that
what I was
rank 3 is going to take forever.
Well, I'm already at rank 2, so I don't think rank 3 is going to take more than another, say, 3 or 4 days.
Well, elaborate on that. How did you get to rank 2 so quickly?
I'm doing the bounties.
But I'm doing the bounties, and I'm like maybe 1.5. And I don't know anybody else who's rank 2. So I think you might be the first one to be rank 2.
But I can tell you this, Brian. So, go ahead, Pope.
No. I was gonna say that it happened one night, and I think Troy, you I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but it happened one night where I got her bounties twice.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was about to go into. It seems as if you complete the day before, if you say you're playing, right, and it's right around like 2 a.m. when they're going to do the switch, and you do all her bounties that day before, and then the new bounties come out and you're still logged in and you pick up those bounties and do them, it seems to be that the next time you log in, the bounties from the new day will be there again because you've already done them, right, before you logged off at around 2 a.m. And then when you log back in, I guess it doesn't register when you're still logged in and the new stuff resets. I guess it doesn't register that you've picked those up and done them. So then it actually allows you to do them again.
Well, if you've ever had the problem where, and I don't know how many people out there, especially dads, are able to stay up late enough to see the rollover from day to day. But if you have ever been in whenever it rolls over, and which is 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, if you've ever been in, say you're in at 12:30, okay, and you play the daily, and then it rolls over, so you start to play the new daily, right? So you're like, oh, cool, I get to play 2 dailies or whatever. But it's past 1 o'clock, so now you didn't log out or anything. You just played the new daily. If you play that daily, sometimes it won't even give you the reward because it doesn't register really in the game, right? And so some people won't even get the reward. Well, the same, and so you have to log out and log back in, and then the reward's there, and then you got to do it again. Well, the same kind of thing is happening, but instead, because it's a bounty, it's actually triggering and letting you complete it and turn it in, based on how their code works. But whenever you log off and log back in, it doesn't register that you ever got those bounties.
Nice.
And so you get to grab them again. But yeah, I think I'm like at 1.5 now with my hunter on her. Maybe a little bit more after I do today's. Yeah, I mean, if you were doing it every day, I think you could be really close to 3 right now. But I mean, why burn? I mean, I'm enjoying it, right? I think that's the real thing. I mean, even if you're not able to do that, it's still enjoyable. She gives you like 4 bounties a day. And then what's really cool is she has that new class bounty. So the first day she had a specific Titan class bounty, right?
Yeah, 7 Hive with the Fist of Havoc.
Yep. And then the second day she had the
Axiom
Bolt, which is the Warlock nade. And I don't even know what she has today.
Today it's wizards with a knee bash.
Yeah, so it's another Titan one.
Yeah.
So Hunter's getting the shaft again.
Well, they don't need any help.
Oh my goodness.
So
they get all the shaft they want.
Yeah.
But yeah, Troy, the one thing I was going to say to you in regard to if you're not doing the reset where you're working the reset to get extra bounty, it seems like they've tried to slow us hardcore guys down, because if you weren't doing the reset or that didn't exist, you wouldn't be close to that to those ranks. Right. So it seems like they're trying to elongate add some longevity to this DLC by upping how long it takes.
They're building into mechanisms to slow everybody down, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but at the same time, I find that I want to if I want to play it faster, because I want to get, I've got that Murmur fully ranked up. The only thing that I'm waiting on is that Ruined Core. So it seems a little frustrating because I've got the entire skill tree ranked up, and I just have to unlock it, and I can't unlock past this Ruined Core, which is 3 circles away from completion. So I don't get to receive any of the benefits of the work that I did to unlock it.
Yeah, that's
so. I don't know. That kind of bothers me a little bit, but I can see where they're trying to slow down the progression of the game, and I don't know. I can get it. I get it.
It's common practice in the MMO world.
Yeah, I mean, as I said for you guys before, I never really got into the Tiger Vanguard stuff at all. In the past week, I've gotten into it quite a bit because I was trying to level up that hunter. And I'll say, man, I really enjoy jumping in with 2 guys and just mindlessly going through that and playing and having that experience. It's been really fun. And that now that they leveled it up to 26, trying to go in there and hopefully get a piece of gear at the end. And Nolxero's showed me a lot of shortcuts for these strikes that can make them a lot quicker. Maybe not stopping at every room and killing every enemy. Shave off 5 to 10 minutes per strike, and all of a sudden, you're doing, 2 or 3 of them an hour, and it's really fun and quick, and it seems to be a huge part to the game that are gonna kind of have to push you towards it, since you can't really get a lot of materials and everything as quick as you would like, right? As the hardcore guys that play a lot more, you're gonna have to really count on RNG to give you that drop. And play a little bit more. So, I think, they're elongating, if you want to say, I think some things, but I think they added a lot of content, more so than we probably thought was going to come out originally, and I'm having a great time with it. For me, I think having the 3 different characters really breaks up a lot of stuff and, lets me experience the game in different ways. Pope obviously loves his Titans, but I would say if you only have one character and you're like, man, I'm getting bored of this game, try another character because I think it really, really changes, how you play the game and makes it enjoyable. So,
Yeah,
I agree with that.
You guys want to talk real quick? As we mentioned, we did do the raid a little bit, and I don't want to tell too much about it. But I will say that the first part of this raid, in what Hambone mentioned, is staying together, and a lot of people. Basically, after speaking to them and different teams and what they did, it seems that agility is a key to the first part of the raid, right? And staying together. And so, you want to talk a little bit about that, Hambone, and about how agility works for that first section without giving too much away?
yeah, sure. Basically, if you look at it like a timed trial to get your whole team from point A to point B, there are certain lanes that you have to navigate, and at the same time, while progressing either rapidly or like we did, slow and methodically, it's extremely crucial that the entire team is up and together. So if you separate, it gets extremely hard. And whether you run through these checkpoints or you move slow and methodical like we did, you will see that it is a lot easier if you're together as a team. And I just want to say that Pope's 3 Titans actually made a huge difference for the world first. The world first were Invigorate, and they brought in a level 31 hunter who had 3 accounts as a hunter, and while they were doing their raid, was busy leveling up all his gear through Vanguard marks and bounties and so on. So they were able to bring him in to give 50% more damage to the boss. So he was the first level 31 in the game, I would imagine. And that's how they were able to get it done so quickly. So
no, he definitely was, I think, and he was the reason for them being able to complete. They said, and you can go read that as well in Deej's update of the week. He definitely had that. But to speak to what you said before at the very beginning of the podcast, when it comes to agility for that first part of the raid, basically all I will tell you guys, so you don't get too frustrated if you're playing that raid, is as we've said, stay together, whether it's run or walk. But if you run, make sure you guys are all spec'd to run together. And all have the most agility you can possibly have. And if you have a multi-tool, make sure you put it on, because we learned that if you even at the level 300 multi-tool, it gives you +5 agility if you spec it right. So.
Right, you have to put on the agility perk on the 3 bubble slot area, and then you have to get I think it's called multi-tool.
it is called
Perk, and that gives you a bunch of movement speed. But if you don't have that, that's why we were having the trouble when Brian was suggesting that we run together.
Yeah.
Right, and then hunters obviously have a higher agility, hunters and warlocks,
Right.
than a Titan. So Titans are a little slower because they have a little bit more armor there. So it just depends on your build and your team structure.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys will see once you try it. But agility is a key, and we've, as Hambone said many times when we were trying it, I don't think there's a right or wrong way yet, or the best way to do it. Everybody's trying different things, but from our experience and many others we talked to, stay together, and it'll keep it less frustrating. Although it's still tough. And dude,
it's tough.
I have to say this about the raid before we get off of it is I had told Nolxero, I didn't catch much Twitch streams or anything like that before we played it ourselves, but I was too worried, that I saw, people standing on plates or whatever, they were doing. And I thought, oh man, really standing in a spot like, like VOG again, like Vault the Glass. I was like, man, this is the best they could come up with, because I think they built these together, and they probably should have released this raid whenever they released the game. And this was a conversation I was having with him on the phone, and he's like, I don't know, man, I don't know, I haven't really watched him enough either. But if that's the case, I wonder. And we get into it, and I have to say, dude, this is a whole different experience than Vault of Glass, and
Yeah, Definitely.
You can. It's completely different. I mean, it's different mechanics. I mean, it's incredible. And man, if they keep coming out with things like this, I don't know about you, Pope, but this just shows how creative Bungie is. And
they're I have to give props to their raid team. Their raid team of designers is just knocking it out of the park, honestly.
Yeah.
Are they on point?
Oh, you better believe it.
We would say that they're on point here at the podcast.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys have any other tips or tricks for any people here that may be trying to get to 31 or 30. If you do want to do the Nightfall and you're a 29, you can't do it. And speaking of Nightfall, you can't do the Nightfall unless you have the expansion first off.
right.
And it's not always going to be like
Yeah.
that. It's just this week. And the next week it'll be some of the original content, and then I think they said they're going to switch it, but I don't know how often. But there are obviously going to be weeks that if you don't have the expansion, you won't be able to, experience the Nightfall and the weekly. But if you do have it and you're 29 and you want to play the Nightfall before you start ranking up gear and going through all the new stuff, you have to enter in with someone that is 30. And they have to pull you in. And even if there's a little trick here. If you haven't done all the era stuff and you do have the expansion and you already are 30 and you want to get the Nightfall so you get the extra XP while doing all the era stuff and the Dark Below expansion stuff, what you can do is find someone that's already gone through it. They can pull you into the Nightfall and then give you party lead and leave, and you can assemble your own team that way. I actually did that with Nolxero. I let him jump in with his second character and gave them party lead, and then I switched to another one of my characters that hadn't got there and jumped back in. So obviously ways around being able to get the extra XP while you go through all the expansion stuff. So well, guys, if you have any tips and tricks for us, definitely shoot them over. You learned something in the Dark Below that you want to share with everybody, and you're like, hey, everybody in DoD's got to know this. Definitely shoot it over to us. And with that said, let's jump over to the stories from the tower.
And now it's time for Stories from the Tower. Stories that come from you, to us, back to you. Be prepared to laugh a time, or 3, or 2.
All right, Hambone. So this week, what was the title of the question you posted this week?
This week was birth stories, and when I put it up on the BNet forums, I decided to elaborate and make it just pregnancy in general.
Yeah.
Funny stories about cravings that your wife might have had, or whatever the case may have been. And we didn't get a ton of responses this week, which was a little sad.
Well, everybody's
but I'm
busy
taking-
playing the
yeah.
Dark Below, man. You know
exactly.
What
And that was where I was too, so I am not taking it personal. But
I mean?
we did get a good response from feedback.dod@gmail.com. Don't forget, you guys can always send your funny stories there as well. And this one comes from Midnight Mav. It's a little bit longer, so I figured it would work out. It says, hello, fellow DoD. Let me preface this by saying, I work at a hospital and in surgeries all the time. I can handle blood, burnt skin tissue, visible body organs, and etc. But here's the big day. My wife is scheduled for a C-section. No problem. My wife goes back to the operating room, and after a little while, the nurse comes and gets me to take me back to watch the end of the C-section. I'm standing there fine, holding my wife's hand, when I suddenly start to get a little dizzy. The doctor looks at me and asks if I'm all right, and I say, yeah, I'm good. Then she says, are you ready to? And I said, let's do it. She struggles to lift my son up and out and says, this kid had a Big Mac on the way out, 11 pounds, 12 ounces, covered in blood, staring at me, and I hit the floor like a rock. Big, strong man couldn't handle a simple birth. About an hour later in the recovery room, I get a phone call from the fire department informing me that the mulch in my front yard had caught fire, and I passed out again.
Wow.
But long story short, everything worked out. Someone had caught the fire before it spread too far, and we actually made the front page of the newspaper. So that was the story from Midnight Mav, and
Wow.
apparently he couldn't handle it.
Man.
He could not handle it. What about you, Troy? How were you during the birth
Dude,
time?
I'm so scared of birth, and this is the truth, man. I'm more scared for my wife, and like getting through it, and like there's this whole anticipation. It's been 9 months, and you want the baby to come out, and and dude, I remember just like yesterday because my son's only 6 months old, and
Mhm.
I'm in the hospital, and as a man, you want to be able to take control of the situation and handle it or whatever, right? In life in general, I think as men, that's just kind of our nature. In this instance, dude, no matter no matter your profession, no matter how manly you are, you can't control it. It's going to happen, and things occur, and you can't change what's going to occur. And so for me, dude, I get worked up, and like my heart goes like 1,000 miles an hour, like I just drank 5 Red Bulls, and like I'm anticipating it. And my wife is so chill, man. Like, dude, my wife had birth last time, natural birth. She didn't take any pain relievers. She wanted
Wow.
to. She wanted to experience it without any pain relievers, without being droggy or anything.
Mhm.
And dude, she's a champ, dude. And it was she recovered actually a lot quicker and better and stuff because she wasn't drogging, her body wasn't fighting all that medication and everything. But it was an experience that definitely frightens me more, I think. And I think it's like I said, because I don't have the option to handle it or control it myself. So
Right. But did you faint?
no, I didn't faint. I did see a lot of blood, bro. And as my brother told me before I had a child, he said, bro, the doctors will tell her, you can't really get freaky deaky with it for the next, 6 to 8 weeks, minimum.
Did the doctor say it just like that? Freaky deaky?
Pretty much. They say, yeah, obviously the woman will tell you herself, but that is the rule, right? And so my brother, he told me this, but long before I had kids, and he ended the comment with this: "Don't worry though, because once you see it occur, you won't want to get freaky deaky until that leaves your mind." And bro, when you see a baby come out, yeah, you're fine with taking a little break. You're like, oh, wait a second, let me have a break.
I'll see you in a couple months.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, next week, make sure you check the forums or follow Hambone on Twitter so that you can see what next week's topic will be, and hopefully, you guys will get some of that, expansion out of your blood system and be able to give us some of your stories so we can get back on track here and make you guys laugh a little bit here at the end of the podcast. And you can also send stories to feedback.dod@gmail.com. And Nolxero, why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe some responses we got this week?
All right. So we read one of the stories for Stories from the Tower. But we have Robbie and Ryan. I want to thank them for their beer suggestions. And we're going to actually post on the beer list on the DoD podcast.com. And then, Justin, we read your fiction, and it was quite long and can't really fit it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your fiction, we're going to place it on our Tumblr, and that can be found on our website as well under the blogcast.
So, yeah, guys, go check out the DoDpodcast.com and come check out Justin's fan fiction that we'll have listed up there on the blogcast, man. And it's pretty awesome. I got to admit, it's quite the story. So if you guys got a few minutes, jump over there and read that and have a good time. Thanks so much for sending that in, Justin. And for those of you guys that maybe it's your first time listening, definitely go over and check out the Guardian Radio Network as well. They have some great shows over there. Obviously, the Guardian Radio Network show, TTL Party Chat, Warlock School, which is obviously close friends of ours and close friends of Pope's, especially with Dungeon Protocol guys, and then Ghosts and Echoes. So, GuardianRadioNetwork.com has a ton of great podcasts. So if you get long drives like Justin did in his email telling us about his 2-hour motorcycle trip every day that he makes one way, I believe. If you got some time to blow, they have some great podcasts. So definitely jump over there. Well, guys, as always, thanks for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you rate us on iTunes. Make sure you check us out at YouTube and Twitch at the DoD Podcast. And you can visit us at thedodpodcast.com for some direct links to those as well. You can follow us on Twitter at the DoD Podcast. Follow me at TwoLoudtx, not Tulu, it's TwoLoudtx. Nolxero, Nolxero. Popebear, Pope_bear. And Hambone at Hambone, HAMBODINI. And don't forget, guys, to visit dazzledestiny.net. Register over there on the new forums so you don't miss all the awesome DoD action. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, see you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Take care, polar bear.
And I'm out the door, dinosaur.
Oh my
You're scraping the bottom of the barrel now, Brian.